People deluded, I'm back again. Now, we drew with Manchester United, as you all saw, but I think the game highlighted a point I've been making in a lot of vids and tried to make in a lot of creative ways. Now, I don't know any more or any less than you lot. I just watch football. You lot praise me as well, and it does make me uncomfortable. But how do I make this make sense? I told you we need a centre half. Like I told you, people were telling me, "Oh, you're negative. You're this. You're getting at them and this." We need a centre half. People were saying, "What about these young players and things like that?" We immediately need a centre half. Now, Socrates is cool in my opinion. I don't think he's perfect. I think in an ideal world for a serious club, no disrespect for him, he's nothing more than third choice. He's reliable to be called upon. He can rotate within the side. I've got a lot of time for Rob Holding, as you lot know. And for me, he starts every game. But God willing, his injury is not a long-term layoff. I mean, it looked like his knee locked against United. So we're praying for the best and expecting the worst sort of thing. But he still shows his naivety. He showed it. Not being switched, not just him, but not being switched on against United. The penalty at Spurs, whether it was a penalty or not, just to dive in and give the ref that decision. There's many incidences we could sit here and say. Mustafi, I must admit, like a lot of people, myself included, I think we might be a bit OTT because at times he's alright, but we know the way I judge it, 10 games, if I was to say 10 games at any random point, do I know the level of consistency I'm getting from you? Now, we've gone 20 games unbeaten, so I have to be a bit fair to him and probably say yes, but I don't know what I'm getting from him. I've seen good games, I've seen terrible games. And yeah, while I don't necessarily feel he was any better or any worse than the centre-halves, I feel this highlights you need a centre-half defence wins titles. Like, we've conceded 8 equalising goals this season. I'm not too sure for how many clean sheets we've got. But you guys know, obviously, the sun is shining at Arsenal right now. We've been 20 games unbeaten. We've lost games. We've dropped points where we shouldn't have. But on the large part, it's been good, innit? We've 4 points in the last 2 games. Players are scoring. Everything's going right. But when you look away from the sun and you look at the weather forecast and you look at and again papering over the cracks because we've conceded equalising goals and turned over teams in the second half, but we concede some cheap goals. We're a long way away from winning any league title, even if Man City weren't in this league or anything like that. So that's what we need to aspire to, and to do that, defence wins titles. We don't have much money allegedly based on what people are saying, but we need a centre half. I don't care whether it's a young centre half that still needs scope to grow, but is a level above these lot that we have. Ideally, I would like a top quality centre half, but I don't know which one to sit here and tell you. Look, I don't feel we can afford the centre halves that I sort of want. I would like Diallo. I think he's a young centre half and he goes against what I've just said. But he has problems heading and in the air or aerial heading, so he's not the finished article either. But I feel defence wins titles, and we're conceding too many cheap goals. I feel our approach to defending has clearly evolved, and we clearly take defending seriously, and we clearly have defended well. Even when we've conceded, we've defended well in moments. And I'm not saying we're not still improving, but a part of me wonders, or in general people, how much can you improve a system or a certain sort of player or players without bringing in different personnel? I feel we need a centre-half, and it's weird because the last couple of seasons it feels like we're always bringing in the centre-half, and I'm always sitting here and saying this, so it doesn't make sense. And we signed a centre-half last year, essentially, and obviously Mavropanos has got his own injury issues, and ironically we're a bit stretched at centre-half now with Holding's injury. I know Koscielny's allegedly coming back. He's lost my faith, to be honest with you people. If he comes and he shows it, you guys know I'll support the lad and happy to be wrong. And like I said, I'll be happy to be wrong. But Koscielny's past it. Mustafi, if we have to use a word, is more or less inconsistent. Holding is still naive. Socrates is as good as it gets, and he's a good tackler and things like that. But on the flip side, awkward on the left-hand channel. Awkward when he's brought into positions out wide, like you saw what Rashford was doing. At times gets ripped in short. Everybody gets ripped, but I feel it's highlighted. You need a centre half. Defence wins titles. If we can get that top quality centre half, like in the same way you see the difference in Torreira in midfield, then it could go a long way, man. Also as well, it's highlighted a central midfielder. I feel we need another central midfielder because I wasn't happy with in large. I feel they played better than what I thought first time round, but Guendouzi, Torreira, and what's his face? What's his face, man? Ramsey. We was clearly missing Xhaka. Now, I'd say we're missing Xhaka and Ozil. Now, let's not look at it through rose tints by the same stretch. You could say Xhaka could have played some naive passes in midfield. Xhaka could have been turned around. But one thing that was afforded in that game was time and space. Xhaka's one of the best midfielders in the world when given time and space. He would have probably clipped a ball over the top, which you saw for Aubameyang and Ozil. We just needed a bit more quality in the final third, to be honest with you. If we had a central midfielder with a bit of quality on the ball, not necessarily in the final third, but a bit more on the ball, we would have been cool. Now, Ramsey, Guendouzi, and Torreira, sorry people, are good at that, but you get the point I'm making. And for me, it's dangerous, man. We're playing a dangerous game with Torreira. Like, every time Torreira's combative, so a lot of the injuries he gets or momentary aches of pains on the pitch is because he's tackling and being fouled because of his committed display. God forbid my man ever gets injured or suspended. We are, pardon my language, pissed. Like, you can't rely on one man if you want to be an elite club or do elite things. I say that because you look at Barcelona. Obviously, excluding, there's exceptions to the rule. If you're Cristiano Ronaldo and you're Lionel Messi and a couple others, then they still rely on you. But even then, Juventus, they haven't only got Ronaldo, they've got however many others. Barcelona the same, and obviously he's a defensive mid or combative box-to-box midfielder, so it doesn't make sense. But if he, in the same way, Xhaka's not perfect, but you saw the drop-off in probably quality on the ball when Xhaka wasn't in the side against United, you will see what Torreira gives you. We all see what Torreira gives us, but at times, what scares me is what you don't necessarily see what Torreira has until he's missing from the pitch, the positioning, even when he's telling other people to be in positions. We need another one, both to be able to shut out games, like I've said in the previous vid, and just because we need a bit more sauce. Like, obviously we don't have. I don't know how much the club have in it. I'm just a football fan that reads the newspapers and whatnot, like you lot. The club have money, but right now they're telling us they don't. So I can't imagine how we fix all of this and stuff like that. But nobody can tell me we don't need a central midfielder, and specifically a centre-half. We need a winger. Cole is the best winger at this club at the moment in time. We need quite a few things, but beggars can't be choosers. And for me anyways, the priorities has to be at centre-half. Yes, you could say because of just the amount of stock we have at centre-half, we don't, but quality over quantity. I like Mavropanos, but he hasn't had a chance to showcase his ability this season because of injury. Holding is holding. Chambers is my guy. Holding's my guy. Chambers, I like Chambers, but he's not at the club at the moment, so he's discarded. And even if we want to be critical, he's actually playing central midfield for Fulham and putting in consistent performances against Liverpool. He was against Chelsea as well. And the last game they played, it was on Match of the Day, whoever they just played. But we don't know if he has a future. He signed a new deal, but we don't know if he has a future. Mavropanos is still naive and untested, like somewhat Rob Holding. Socrates is somewhat a stopgap at best, to be fair. He's here for the next few years, probably assuming Holding, Mavropanos, and if anyone else develops to that next level. And he's a decent centre-half, but you feel with Mavropanos this is as good as it gets, and I like him, but he's not that top quality you probably need. Mustafi is hot and cold, but you're never quite confident with Mustafi if we're quite honest as well with yourselves. While Koscielny seems to be at the twilight phases of his career. He's had a good career, He's fought to have a good top-level career, and he's at a period he was one of the best centre-halves in the world, but he's not that at this moment in time. I mean, excluding the top six, I might be being... In fact, no, I was going to say I'm acting. He gets into a lot of the sides outside the top six, but at the same time, would they be confident? I think they'd be happy with him, but would he walk into them? I was reaching a bit, but you get the point, people. Like, there's just a couple of things stopping us from next level. Like, regardless of if a centre-half came into the side, I will say one thing. While I'm seeing an improvement in defending, we've got a long way to go, and we need to really improve in that aspect before we talk about other stuff. But yeah, man, there's not too much to say. What else can I say, people? People, deluded, comment, subscribe, and do the rest if you wish. Thank you for watching.